Hey everyone, let's just jump right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring how completely rewiring our relationship with money can take us from a state of paralyzing fear to absolute, unshakable confidence. We're pulling insights directly from Saeed Morad Davletov's work on financial stability, specifically Chapter 4, and we're going to zero in on a genuinely fascinating concept: the psychology of literally holding cash. So I want you to imagine a scenario. You step out your front door, and there's a thick stack of $20,000 sitting right there in your jacket pocket. How would you react? Because honestly, how you react to this exact situation reveals pretty much everything about your underlying financial mindset. For most of us, the immediate biological reaction isn't feeling powerful. It's sheer, unadulterated terror. Well, today, we're going to figure out exactly why that is, and more importantly, how to fix it. Section 1. The Wealth Mindset. Look, before we even touch the money, we have to talk about ambition. To build true wealth, you absolutely must evolve from a person of process into a person of result. What does that mean? Well, a person of process is basically just running on a hamster wheel. They're going through the motions, working out of pure necessity, clocking in, clocking out, zero passion. But a person of result, they're like a runner on fire. They relentlessly pursue the finish line. Even when they hit a wall, their eyes are locked on that ultimate goal. They don't just endure their work, they are obsessed with the outcome. If you want to change your financial reality, making this identity shift is literally step 1. Section 2. Possibilities above money. Okay, so let's look at the foundational philosophy successful people use to navigate their choices. You need to adopt this immediately. Always put your possibilities above money. Think about the flip side of that. If you put money above your possibilities, then a lack of money is going to harshly dictate your life. It dictates what you eat, what you wear, where you travel, even what gifts you can buy for the people you love. Money becomes your master simply because you put it on a higher pedestal than your own potential. But by elevating your potential over your current bank balance, you take back control. You stop letting a scarcity mindset make your decisions for you. Highly successful people, they never let their current lack of funds blind them to what they're actually capable of in the future. When you place possibilities first, you are the one determining the quality of your life, not your wallet. Section 3. Flexing the money muscle. Now, this isn't just a theory, it requires actual physical training. Welcome to the concept of the money muscle. Just like an athlete trains their body for peak performance, you have to actively train your nervous system to be comfortable holding on to money. The exercise itself is simple, but man, is it difficult. You carry a large sum of cash on you constantly. You don't spend it, you just carry it. This trains two things at once: your psychological resilience against the paralyzing fear of losing it, and your absolute discipline against the sudden impulse to spend it just because it's right there in your pocket. Section 4. Overcoming financial fear. So let's look at what happens when this muscle is put to a real-world stress test. Consider an experienced cashier who went to one of Davletov's financial seminars. She had 25 years of experience handling cash every single day at her job. Because of that, she confidently told everyone she wasn't afraid of carrying money. No big deal, right? So they handed her $20,000 and told her to carry it for just one single day. Well, despite a quarter-century of professional experience handling massive amounts of cash, the raw, visceral fear of personal loss completely paralyzed her. Some other attendees actually secretly watched her on her way home. On the bus ride, she was gripping her bag with white knuckles, absolutely terrified of any stranger who walked near her. And when she finally got to her apartment building, she saw some people standing outside and panicked so hard she actually paced nervously around her own building twice before sprinting inside. Professional detachment's easy, you guys. Personal financial confidence, way, way harder. Overcoming this massive internal friction is vital. It acts as your personal shield. In fact, there's a fascinating experiment mentioned in the source where researchers showed photos of people to actual convicted criminals and asked who they would target. The criminals consistently chose the people who outwardly projected fear. Your internal financial panic literally makes you a target. It draws trouble right to you. By training your money muscle, you completely eradicate that fear, you build immense self-confidence, and you forge this ironclad discipline against impulse buying. Your internal confidence literally becomes your first line of defense. The author himself actually faced the ultimate test of this muscle. He was waiting at an airport in Moscow with over $40,000 in cash. It was just sitting in his jacket pocket, and he had casually laid that jacket right on top of his luggage in the waiting area. So he decided he needed to step away to use the restroom. He asked a woman nearby to keep an eye on his things, and as he walked away, it suddenly hit him. Wait, there's 40 grand in that jacket. He fought this agonizing internal monologue. His legs were literally shaking with adrenaline. He asked himself, do I go back for the money, or do I walk forward confidently? He had to force himself not to panic and run back. Why? Because succumbing to that panic trains your brain to be a slave to your possessions. Think about it. If you can't walk confidently away from your possessions for 5 minutes, your fear becomes this massive, heavy anchor, permanently chaining you to the ground. Conquering the fear of loss prevents you from settling for a smaller life. If you're constantly terrified of losing what little you have, you're never going to take the calculated risks required to multiply it. You have to prove to your own brain that you control the money. The money absolutely does not control you.
Section 5. True Financial Independence.
As we wrap up this explainer, we really need to redefine what the ultimate goal looks like. Why are we building this muscle in the first place? Well, financial independence isn't just some mathematical number or a specific balance in your checking account. It is the absolute freedom and capability to honor the deepest promises you make to the people you love. It's keeping the promise to yourself to actually develop your talents. It's the promise to your spouse to create a beautiful, stable life. It's the promise to your kids to provide them with a top-tier education. That is what true freedom looks like. Now, people might think it's incredibly strange to walk around with thick wads of cash just to train your nervous system. They might literally call you a weirdo. But unorthodox training is exactly what it takes to break free from average results. It is far better to be a rich weirdo who deeply understands the psychology of wealth than a poor, sensible person who just conforms to the exact habits that keep everybody else broke. I want to leave you with this final thought. Until you willingly step into the discomfort of abundance, your fear is always going to make your financial decisions for you. So, are you going to keep letting fear dictate your possibilities? Or are you going to go to the bank, pull out some cash, and start training your money muscle today? The choice is entirely yours.